but I wanted to say this about this sort of refusal to acknowledge what making the sausage really looks like on their part. I have been struck ever since I came into contact with libertarians about how absolutely, I think it's willful ignorance. I don't know, but they actually don't understand. I mean, people on the left, they actually don't understand the violence that's implicated in the state and and the state relies on violence. Its possession of the monopoly on violence, its application of violence, its threat of violence, the whole thing falls apart without it. And regardless of what kind of state it is and regardless of what they want to carry out. I mean, I've said this to people, on the left, like, if I get a parking ticket, or they'll say, well, what if you get a parking ticket, you just pay the fine, it's no big deal. I say, yeah, what if I don't pay the parking ticket? They'll say, well, then you get just another notice and you get, I say, yeah, what if I never pay any of those parking tickets, any of those notices? You know what happens? I become Corinne Gaines, who was the black woman in near you, I think in DC or in Maryland, who did exactly that. She had a bunch of traffic tickets and she just didn't pay them. And finally there was a warrant and they sent the SWAT team to her house and she was sitting at her kitchen table with a shotgun. And when the SWAT guy came to her front door with a rifle and pointed it at her, she pointed the shotgun at him and she was killed. And if she hadn't done that, she would have been taken to prison, to a cage. So over traffic violations. So yeah, there's always violence there. But the left, I think if any intervention needs to be made with the left, it's that. They need to be forced to deal with some of them understand it and they sort of just say, yeah, like the hardcore communists will be like, yeah, we got to kill a bunch of people. We get it. But most people on the sort of soft left who are like, bourgeois, upper, educated, went to Yale, et cetera, they don't get it. They don't get that it's about killing and caging people and stopping them from moving, stopping migration of people also. It's violence through and through the state.
Well, yeah, I see that cognitive dissonance where they're currently marching in the street, progressive socialists. So there's a bunch of different people marching for a lot of different reasons, but they seem to have righteous anger against the abuse of the monopoly power of police in the murder of George Floyd. And they seem to be just as angry about that as we libertarians have been angry about abuse of government power and the killing of innocent people since as long as we've been libertarians. But they don't go past that and say, but I still want to ban everybody but the cops from owning a gun.
But see, here's the thing, Matt. They're not clearly angry about, how'd you put it, government abuse of power? They're not. They're interested in the racial distribution, the equal racial distribution of pain. They want pain to be equally distributed among the races. It seems, because they're very uninterested in actual structural reform. They absolutely refuse to acknowledge the fact that there are 500,000 white people in prison right now. They absolutely refuse to acknowledge that more white people get shot, unarmed white people get shot by cops every year than blacks. Yes, it's disproportionately black people who are affected, but I mean, if it's a racist agenda, that's a hell of a lot of collateral damage.